Hi all, today we're going to be talking about the Type 88 Phantom Forces. It's a rank 122 assault rifle that is loosely based on the AK-74, and it's really fun. It's not the most high damaging assault rifle, it's not the fastest killing assault rifle, but it's nice to use. It's very pleasant, the recoil is very easy to control, and if you decide to stick with the stock magazine, you get a lot of rounds. You can also shove 7.62 into it, but I will not really be talking about that conversion as I do not yet own it, and I can't really grade something I don't have. So, the Type 88 is basically a North Korean AK-74. This comes with all the problems of it being a North Korean AK-74, but it does give you a lot of options and a lot of things that other AK platform assault rifles do not have, meaning you can get the recoil to be very, very good and very, very tight. So, I like it. It's 34 damage, so it's a 3-shot kill in close range, dropping off to 20 damage, so it's a 5-shot kill at long range, which means it's reliable. Only 600 RPM is pretty rough, but this does make the recoil pretty easy to control, especially when you go for the attachments that I'll be talking about, which are the ones that I use. Of course, you can build it any way you want. This is just what I recommend. So in the way of scopes, I don't run anything. And there's a reason for this. This ugly-ass rail. Run a sight if you want. The rail is too hideous for me to pass, personally. In the barrel. Compensator is what I find works best. Obviously, other options are available, and even the muzzle booster does work fairly well here because there's not a lot of recoil in the first place, and that little bit of rate of fire does help you out, but I personally like the compensator. As for the barrels, they're both fine. I wouldn't really recommend them, but they do work. If you really want them, I just wouldn't recommend them. In the underbarrel slot, which, funnily enough, is mounted on the side of the gun because of where the Helical magazine is, which looks funny if you're using one of the regular mags, but whatever. I like the pistol grip. It just makes the gun even tighter control, reduces already more recoil. Like, it just makes the gun have very little recoil, makes it very, very easy to use. So pistol grip is the way I go. A lot of other things are viable. Shout out to the chainsaw grip. If you go for a really funny, like, drum mag, where you keep the helical mag and you just build it as this monster of a weapon. But I would highly recommend the pistol grip. In the other slot, honestly, all of the accessories are fine. Well, the lasers are all fine if you want to run them. I would not run cantids. And for the stock. Now, you can get rid of the stock altogether, where you basically run a mean build, where you keep the helical mag, so you have like a 60-round magazine, you take out the stock, you make the short barrel, and you put a chainsaw grip on it, which makes it kind of funny. But, for what the regular people use, just take the full stock. Normally, most AK assault rifles don't have this available because they already have full stocks, so it's just going to tighten up the recoil even more. Point is, this thing has a lot of recoil control. The downside is it doesn't have a whole lot of time to kill. So, think of the Type 88 as a precision weapon that is reliable but does not kill very quickly. As for your ammo slot, I think the 30-round magazine is just mandatory. It just makes the gun control better. The Helical magazine has some really, really bad recoil properties assigned to it, so just go for the 30-round mag. Not only will it make the reload speed actually tolerable, but it'll just make the gun control much nicely, and it's in general a good thing to have. It's just nice, and you unlock it. Like, you start with it for free. It's a 0-kill reward, so you can run it as soon as you're ready to. So, of course, live gameplay, as per usual. This is Metro. It's Deathmatch, which is kind of a shame, not my favorite game mode, but it should serve as a nice spot to get some footage for this thing. Now, you do get shot by shotguns a lot, and in general, that's a really good segue where I can really say this thing has no damage output. 34 at 600 is pretty damn weak. No matter which way you look at it, that's a pretty low damage model, especially for an assault rifle. Anything in close range or anybody with aim will usually just straight up beat you. However, time to kill is never your advantage and you should not treat it as such. Your real advantage is recoil. If you have good aim, you can pretty much chain headshots with the thing. It also works out to extremely long ranges because it's a 5-shot kill even at long range, thanks to having 20 damage minimum, and because the recoil is so good, you usually do pretty well. Even if you're going full auto at long range, you generally hit most of your shots, and this is life-saving a lot of the time. Of course, I'm not exactly playing very well because it's literally my first game on. But you know what? This is how it goes. An average gun in the hands of an average player with a fairly average setup. So, the Type 88 is good. I really like it. However, I like weird guns. Keep this in mind. I like weird, kind of wacky guns that are not really typical. In the realm of being a competitive assault rifle, this thing is not it. If you want an assault rifle that kills quickly and still has good recoil control, well, a billion other YouTubers have already made reviews on the M16A3 and a bunch of other options. Like, if you're purely looking for a fast-killing, easy-to-control assault rifle, I'm gonna keep it real, the Type 88 is not it. It's a very low recoil assault rifle that is very consistent and reliable, but it gets beaten. Ultimately, there are still better weapons available than this thing. And honestly, even its unique gimmick of having access to the Helical mag isn't worth it because, well, the Helical mag just kind of sucks. Sure, you get the really big drum, which is pretty funny, but the problem is, well, that really big drum costs you a whole lot of recoil, and it costs you a whole lot of reload speed. Meaning that, it's kind of rough. So slot the 30-rounder, no matter what. It's just more reliable that way. From what I've seen and heard, the 7.62 conversion is very, very good, but I cannot give any personal opinions on it myself. Consider the review lacking in that regard, if you will. Now, of course, as with any gun of 10 forces, you can pre-buy the thing. Would I pre-buy the Type 80? No. No, it's not worth pre-buying. There's literally no reason to pre-buy this gun. There is just straight up no reason to pre-buy this gun. It does not have any real huge unique qualities, especially for being such a high-rank weapon, that would make you say, oh boy, this is worth pre-buying. It's not really unique. It's basically just an AK-74 that you can put a shit ton of recoil-reducing attachments on and turn into a laser. But then it still has all the pitfalls of the regular AK-74, without any of the funny, unique attachments that said AK-74 has available. I like it. I like it a lot. And that's because I'm a sucker for kind of bad weapons, as you've probably seen. Still, I recommend it, but I do not advise it. It's kind of hard to make sense of that. It's a gun that I really enjoy, and I definitely recommend using and trying out once you unlock it, especially because it's such a high-rank reward. I just got blown up by a frag grenade. But, ultimately, for being such a high-rank reward weapon, it's kind of disappointing. There's not really anything going on for it, and in general, it's just kind of boring. Unless you really, really like AKs, or really, really like a Helical magazine that pretty much ruins every other part of your weapon to get a big magazine on an assault rifle, in which case the M231 already exists with the 100-round drums available to it. It's not really worth anything. I like it, but that's kind of the main point here. Ow. It's fun if you really, really like super controllable guns, but it doesn't actually kill anything quickly. It's reliable, it's consistent, but you just get outgunned by a lot of other assault rifles, a lot of other weapons in general, and the only real advantage that's going to make this thing actually work well is aim. If you have good aim, and you're willing to use a subpar DPS weapon, I think it's really good. I think it's worth time. But if you can't aim very well, or you want something that's actually just good out of the box, it's a pretty safe skip. Thank you all, and I will see you all again another time. Bye.